Gauntlet.
Punching their tickets to the Global Gauntlet Finals.
Qualified for the Global Gauntlet.
They are to the finals.
Global Gauntlet.
Hello everybody and welcome back to Global Gauntlet Rewound, where we are taking a look at matches that weren't showcased on stream. We are looking here at ezmd versus ISM Rhythm. I'm Kater, joined today by my lovely co-commentator Frostix. How are you feeling?
It's awfully raining, but the rain has subsided, and I'm eager to take a look at what ezmd and ISM Rhythm had in round one. These sets were unstreamed, but looking forward to see ezmd, an EU team consisting of well-known players: Silver, Devin 4K, Phoenix, and Kiki. They're the first team we're seeing right now.
Yes, indeed. They actually won Ludi's Season 17 Division X right before this, so they've got to be feeling good going into this match. They do have two one-trick players, as you can see from the weapons listed here, with Silver being on that Splatana Stamper and Devin being on the E-Leader 4K, sometimes pulling out that scope. So while that may make their compositions a little less flexible, they are definitely good at what they do and very honed in their craft. So that's going to make them scary to go up against. On the other side of the set, we've got ISM Rhythm here with Livia, Grandroll, Goyama, and Yochan Ika, also with an E-Leader on their roster.
So a leader v leader matchup, but what's notable is that Goyame, the E-Leader on ISM Rhythm's side, holds the highest peak X power with the E-Leader 4K, the one without the scope. And it's one of the main reasons why E-Leader is considered strong in the current meta. Players like Goyame, players like Devin just bring a bunch of far range pressure with the leader, deadly with the squeeze, can hit some shots, provide really excellent sight lines for probably the rest of ISM Rhythm, like Livia on the 96, Yochan Ika on the S-Class, as well as Grand Roll on the Bucket, alongside the Dreads as well. I think just having someone that can just like scout out for you, provide some paint, provide some support with the Ink Mines, as well as I think the Wavebreaker has a lot of good value, I'd say.
Yeah, that Wavebreaker can provide some really important location information. And I'm not saying that just because I'm a heavy Splatling player myself. It's really nice to be able to scout out those locations as well as provide some chip damage if you get lucky. We're looking at our selections and strikes here for our stage. It looks like ezmd has banned Urchin, Underpass, and Humpback Pump Track for their selections, and then ISM Rhythm has selected to ban Inkblot Art Academy. And looking at their second ban, is Lemuria. Completely fair. I don't like playing on Lemuria either. Our selected stage will be Wahoo World. Not something that I would expect, and not something that, it's random, isn't it?
Who knows? Who knows?
I believe it is random for our first stage here. So we are going to go into this first match.
It is Wahoo.
Splat Zones on Wahoo World. Let's see what these teams have brought. Devin on that E-Leader, no surprises there. Same for Goyame. So looks like with no scope on either one, they are going to have the same range and same area control. Both of them opting to run Respawn Punisher as well.
I mean, I think Respawn Punisher and the E-Leader 4K go with like bread and butter, and we're already taking a look at what Goyame is up to. I think they're trying to go for some jump peak shots here. Landing this type onto Silver. That's no sword for ezmd. Grand Roll and Yoika are now starting to move in. Alongside Livia, here comes a slider collapsing on ezmd here. A very solid start for ISM Rhythm.
Yeah, but they do go 3 down there. ezmd taking this opportunity to try and come back, get a little bit more paint onto that zone. Phoenix on the Zap, putting out the cooler on the top for the rest of their teammates. Wavebreaker goes out as well, and so ezmd with a special advantage using this. Devin with on the high ground here, a lot of area control, and Silver is taking advantage of that to jump back there. Kiki's also far up. As you can see, the zone fully in control of ezmd as ISM Rhythm tries to find a response to this, not having their 96 right now, but they do have the Reef Slider from the Dreadringer.
I will point out that Goyame did just hit 2 snipes so far, both on, I think, on Silver and then on Kiki. Grand Roll will pop the slider, not getting any targets, and they will be punished by Phoenix, who is trying to get a little bit of an angle here. They're now sending the flank to take the shot onto Goyame, but they're not going down without a fight here, but they do secure the pick right then and there. They are trying to collapse with this Booyah Bomb, and now EZMD are back in control. It's only the Dread Grand Roll, and they get wiped out thanks to the indirects from Kiki, and they're just on a runaway right now, Cater. 39-61. They have a Booyah Bomb ready in Silver's back pocket here, and Kiki is sending it, but they get directed by Yoika, and I think this is the sign for ISM Rhythm to start moving.
Yeah, here comes Livia with the Vac. Silver popping the Booyah Bomb, but the Vac goes down before it can eat the Booyah Bomb, and so that goes off anyway. Kiki here in the Flow Aura, getting chip damaged, and that's 2 down on the side. Make that 3 down on the side of ISM Rhythm, with losing Livia as their last member. That's a delayed wipe. No penalty points left for EZMD. We're in the single digits now. Grand is making a last-ditch effort to go onto that zone, but unfortunately time will run out, and our first match will go as a knockout to EZMD.
A very clean knockout, especially after that runaway that ISM Rhythm had at the start of the game. I think especially with that opening shot from Goyame. Even still, EZMD are just able to hold down the line here. They even sent their players like Kiki really deep into ISM Rhythm's kind of spawn area here, kind of tripped them up a bit as they just kind of held down their line. They made good work in dodging their specials here as well. They kind of neutralized really important stuff like the Booyah Bomb from the S-Blast. And I think when you can neutralize zone flipping specials like that, it really does count.
Yeah, I really liked Livia's idea with the Ink Vac on that 96, but unfortunately the timing just didn't quite work out with it. And that Vac is still vulnerable from behind, so they weren't able to eat the Booyah Bomb like they wanted to.
So with that now, not EZMD. They have won game 1, which means it's now ISM Rhythm's turn to, if I remember correctly, this is their moment to strike a stage from the pool. You see that? Oh, it's not. They're not striking the stage. They're actually selecting the next stage as EZMD have striked Flounder and Museum. So now it's in the hands of ISM Rhythm. How will they work against a team comp? Oh, here we go. It's Museum.
Museum, definitely fair. I can see why they would want that with Goyame on that E-leader, which is very, very powerful here. But of course, that does allow the same fortune to Devin on the... so actually it's Mincemeat. Okay, so yeah, I was gonna say, I think I saw Museum on the ban list, which
that's right.
Was very interesting to me just because I think E-leaders tend to like that stage a lot. Maybe they just wanted to take it away from Goyame, although that does take away from Devin as well. But we're heading to Mincemeat Metalworks, another stage that I feel like you don't really see in at least competitive on the western side as much, but we're here now and we'll see how it shakes out.
Yeah, and we're seeing Devin stick to the leader here. It does have sightlines, especially I think in mid, but those two kind of ledge areas in which the grates are, those are good spots for hiding from the scope of the leader. And Silver immediately going down, I assume, to Goyame again. Silver unfortunately cannot catch a break from Goyame's scope, or more so lack thereof, and ISM Rhythm is going to be in control first as EZMD are trying to at least trickle out. They're all collapsing onto the right side, but a slider from Grand Roll will get rid of Silver as well as Kiki. Phoenix going down. There's 3 members down. Devin's trying to hide. Silver's trying to back up. They're able to get rid of Yoika, but the damage is being dealt, Cater. 56 and counting.
Yeah, after that push, taking them all the way down past 50, that is a great place for ISM Rhythm to be, and they are continuing it as well. 2 members of EZMD down. They are not stopping. You can see Yoika again going for that bridge pick. Goyama getting another snipe there, facing off against Devin, putting out that wave breaker for more location information right on top of that pillow. Livia, meanwhile, holding down the fort on the left side here and just dodging that laser. All the members of EZMD could have clumped up in that same place that they were before. Silver's gonna put out that Booyah Bomb in a last effort, but Grant is going to Reef Slider over it. The control is not, but the Ink Mine puts down just that last little bit of paint on the zone, and just like that, our second match is done.
Talk about a clean sweep, Cater, in a very fluid 100 2-0. There was not any amounts. There were 0 penalties being applied to the members of ISM Rhythm right then and there. They took that zone once, and they never let go of it. A firm chokehold on that zone.
Yeah, you've got to wonder, is like, are the positioning that ezmd was falling into, that kind of clumping up on the bridge overlooking the zone that we saw multiple times, is that intentional? Is that a lack of practice on this map? I feel like it is definitely the more common way to get back onto zone over that direct great route, but it does make you very vulnerable, especially to those area of effect specials or to getting dropped on by something like that blaster, or it makes you more predictable for something like Goyama on that E-leader to aim down that sightline, so you might want to try a different approach to the zone.
Yeah, I think like vision right now is kind of a very big thing to keep in mind here. I think like not only just because both teams are running a leader, I mean, it also just kind of like depends on like how you're opening. Game 3 is now underway. Barnacle and Dime is the map that ezmd has picked, and I think that this has leader-friendly sightlines here. Snipe has a good lookout. It has a good vantage point onto mid, and if there's no snipe to be taken, you can try taking Plat as well.
For sure, that mid area is large and flat, and so there's not a lot of verticality to hide behind if you're trying to stay out of those leader sightlines. We'll see how that works out for them. We still have that zap on both sides as the cooler weapon of choice. We'll see how the paint output on those goes for as well. Silver actually, unfortunately, going down again, getting very aggressive with that, and unfortunately getting called out for it. You can see Goyama looking for the snipe on one of the members of ezmd as Livia pushes up, and already Grand is out on another one of those reef sliders, unfortunately going down, and Livia does as well. That's 3 down, with Goyama being the only one. ezmd taking this opportunity to rush forward and take this zone down. Silver going down, unfortunately, to Grand there, but still in good control here, especially as coming right back with the cooler up, the Booyah at the ready, all of these specials going out onto the zone.
Yep, these leads are definitely attainable for ezmd, but right now you need to find a way to flush out the remaining members of ISM Rhythm out of mid here. Silver is now in the mid zone here. They're trying to take some close fights with the Stamper. They are able to take 2 down alongside, I think, Kiki here. They drop the Booyah Bomb onto Plat, trying to flush out Yoika. There's 3 members down on ISM Rhythm. No one's taking Plat just yet, but as soon as I say that, Silver is taking initiative alongside Kiki with this B-Blaster here. They do get the Yoika in the indirect. There's 1 down on each side here. ISM Rhythm now has a cooler deployed here. Devin has now taken advantage of Plat, but they get shut down by Olivia as the rest of ISM Rhythm are moving in. Phoenix trying to stand the ground. Grand is almost at a slider. They may want to pop this, but they're able to get rid of Phoenix. Here comes a slider running over Silver, and now that is Zone back in control of ISM Rhythm. The score right now, 54-64, with the penalty slowly ticking away on ISM Rhythm's end.
Very close right now. It's still anyone's game. You can see ISM has kind of split up a little bit here. Yoika opting to threaten with the blaster area of effect from this Plat, then jump back to their teammates. Livia doing a little bit of sharking here, waiting until someone comes up onto this Plat, unawares, able to pop out and catch Devin, unfortunately going down to Phoenix, but taking out that E-Leader is absolutely huge. Kiki is coming back into this zone as well, using the AoE to push back Yama slowly but surely. Silver hanging on by a thread, but similarly forcing Grand down and off of the Plat. The area control that is being demonstrated by ezmd is huge. This Booyah Bomb going out. Ooh, but the Reef Slider from Grand cannot stand up to it, and Grand is going to get the pick there. Lot of turf coming out from the Dread Ringer as they take over this Plat area along with their teammates. Goyama up front in a really good position. Another snipe on Silver. That is that aggressive tool that is so important, going down.
So right now, ISM Rhythm is out of their penalty points. The Wavebreaker has been deployed by Goyama. Plat is the place to be taken right now, and Silver is eyeing it with intent here. We're seeing Grand trying to watch Street for any flankers at the moment, but ezmd has taken Plat here. This bubble won't matter to the zap on ISM Rhythm as they get another knockout onto zone with a little bit of resistance this time from ezmd, but the set is now 1-2. It's now match point for ISM Rhythm.
Yes, it is. I loved EZMD's idea of putting it down that bubble on the plat to give themselves a little bit more of a stable place to work with, but unfortunately it was just a little bit too late in the match and they couldn't actually use it to set up. That combined with they were taking sort of a multi-pronged approach to the zone, and they kind of went in one by one. Unfortunately, that's just what happens when you're running really low on time in a game, but it meant that they couldn't combine their resources or their pain, and they got picked off one by one more.
Yeah, and then not to mention, they did try to work with, I think, Kiki's bubble, but even then, you just had the members of ISM Rhythm just go in the bubble. What's just stopping you from going inside and taking things into your own hands? That's, I think, I'm not sure if it was Livia or if it was, I think, maybe this was, yeah, I think it was Livia that just kind of just sent it straight to Kiki's bubble. And now we're seeing some statistics here right now. So far, on EZMD, noticing some, at least, I think the big thing right now I want to focus on is the KP percent, which stands for kill participation percent. Noticing right now, I think the things are kind of inverted right now. I think the player right now with the most kill participation right now is Phoenix, very proactive on the end zap, and I think that's what you can do when you have that forward cooler here. Similarly, you have Livia on, not even similarly, actually, like in contrast, I think Livia's kill participation with their end zap on ISM Rhythm is kind of a little bit lower.
Yeah, I wonder if that's just like a playstyle difference, perhaps. I mean, you can see that Phoenix was also able to get a lot of paint down, so perhaps that means more coolers, more assists, more chip damage. But also talking about chip damage, Jochan Ika on that custom blaster had a similarly high kill KP percent count with about 47%, I believe. So that chip damage really coming in handy for ISM right now. So having won that third game, they get to strike another 2 stages. We didn't get to look into the previous ones before, so they've struck Eeltail, Undertow, Marlin, and now Umami. So our pool has narrowed. It is now EZMD's turn to pick. They are going to select Scorch Gorge.
Scotch George is going to be the map of choice, and Scorch Gorge will be the map of choice. And obviously this map is, Scorch Gorge zones will be an interesting play here. I'm unsure on how the sidelines work for leader in terms of Goyame and Devin. Of course, Snipe is just somewhere that you can just hunker down on. Same thing with the mid tower. I guess the only thing is that, like, what are you going to be looking at though?
I guess I actually want to say the snipe area is deceptively safe. Honestly, it feels like you're safe up there, but as an anchor player that has stepped there and gone down one too many times, it is definitely not the safest place to be. It feels nice though, but this zone is absolutely massive, and with the top mid tower, it can take a really long time to cap, even if you are in control of the zone. So that can make it quite annoying to play on. But Devin and Goyame in a little bit of a standoff right there as the E-Leader versus E-Leader is kind of up to do there. You can watch both of them trying to break each other's sightlines there. Livia forced to jump back out, and it is going to be EZMD with first cap of the zone here. Goyama forced a little bit back as both teams lose a member, but that's Silver going down there as well, and Phoenix as well. Grand popping the Reef Slider, going down to some chip damage. Livia has come in to clear this off and catching Devin at a bad time. Very close to a cooler as well. This is a great place for ISM to be.
Exactly, and they're already starting to send Grand and Yoika into the spawn. Livia has now joined them, has deployed the cooler. No specials are online, however, and they're throwing point sensors thanks to Kiki's switch to the custom blaster, but that won't stop ISM Rhythm. They're sending themselves either way, but they are being punished. They are 3 down. They do take the lead, but Goyame is the only one on zone, and they get shot down. That special will be canceled, but at least the splashdown will be able to get rid of Livia. At the moment now, we're seeing EZMD trying to stabilize here. They do have a Booyah Bomb in the back pocket of Silver and a Wave Breaker in the back pocket of Devin, but now Phoenix has gone down. That's no soda for EZMD. Here comes a slider from Grand Roll, able to get rid of the blaster, and that is now a counter wipeout from ISM Rhythm, striking back as fast as they were overtaken, and they're right back in control of zone.
This is a great place for ISM to be. That wipeout allows them full control of mid, and Goyama is now resituated on that top mid tower. A nice wave breaker to cover all of that snipe and court area, and just continuously sending their members. Ooh, Yoika getting canceled in that splash, but it still puts out that pressure. The cooler expires. Goyama is still here to defend, though. Grand unfortunately does get taken out, but because Goyama is here, they still have the jumps in. Livia looking to shred the Booyah Bomb, not quite making it through, and that's 2 down on the side of ISM. So ezmd able to clinch the wipeout there in their favor, and that penalty is very low. So they are going to pop the cooler and immediately take a position very similar to what we saw before from ISM.
Taking a page out of ISM Rhythm's book, Kiki is the one to send things deep. Silver is providing a little bit more chip damage from the back, but now Kiki is being punished. Silver is alone, and they're starting to reposition to the rest of their team. Grand Roll does have a slider ready to pop here. Devin has a wave breaker. Now Phoenix, I think that's Phoenix or Kiki going down. Grand Roll is going to be able to get rid of Silver.
Woo!
Kiki has gone down. The lead has swapped, though, and the damage has been dealt on ISM's end, but the leads are deadly close, 35-31. The zone is in control of ISM Rhythm, and now Goyame is going to go back and hunker down on the mid tower to start up another hold.
ezmd looking to break back into this zone. You can see the 3 members of ISM are situated to expect this. The Booyah Bomb from Silver gonna come out to force Grand under and Livia underneath the ledge, but it's fine with them because Livia is able to get the pick there. Phoenix unfortunately pressured out by Goyama, whose presence is just continuous, gets the snipe on Kiki and continuing to look for another on Devin, who actually gets the snipe back, but we are in the single digits for the zone. It is now or never for ezmd, and they are 2 down. The slider from Grand is going to make it so much harder to paint over, and that is our set, with ISM Rhythm taking that 3rd match point.
Very, very decisive from Scorch Gorge. I almost said Scotch George again. This is an inside joke. But very decisive Scorch George. Oh my! You get the idea. Very decisive Scorch Gorge game between ezmd and ISM Rhythm here. I think one really big thing that I noticed is that both of the teams kind of picked up on each other's strategies. I think it was ISM Rhythm that initially sent 3 members in to ezmd spawn. As soon as ezmd got the flip, they sent 3 more, but I think they didn't maybe commit as hard as ISM did.
Yeah, they did have the cooler there, but they seemed to stay back in the narrower part of that bridge instead of fully committing to the court zone. And I think that made them a lot easier to flush out just because you get really clumped back up in there. Let's take a look at our stats from that previous game. How about that 69.60 KP percent from Yochan? Again, that chip damage, so important.
Definitely so. Not just from the weapon alone, of course. The V-Blaster was able to just kind of chip its way under ledges, over ledges, or walls. That's just kind of the beauty of what Blaster can do here. I think we saw that a lot from both of the teams. I think ISM, like Livia switching to Tri Nouveau, you just had both of them, maybe even Grand Roll, just under the ledges, ensuring that ezmd just had the worst time trying to step onto zone, and that's 69.60 KP percent really proves that. Looking over at ezmd's end here, Phoenix once again continues to be really proactive with this end zap here. We're seeing a lot more proactiveness also from Kiki, also on Custom Blaster, and it's just what you can do. I really like Custom Blaster. I'm glad that I'm glad we're seeing a lot more of it, like compared to S-Blast, if you ask me.
Fair enough. We also saw a lot of paint go out there, I think, from both teams. That's, of course, fitting given it was a Splat Sense game, but I think that really shows how much a team's objective can be flexible and shift even when you're working with relatively similar weapons from game to game.
Yeah, definitely so. I think we saw a lot more, I think both teams just kind of had a solid core of E-Leader and Zap, and then
for sure.
They were a little bit more flexible. I think ezmd was a little bit more locked into it because you had Silver sticking with Stamper through and through. You had you had Kiki. I think they swapped blasters sometime midway through the set. I'm not sure when they picked up on Custom Blaster. I think it was probably around Barnacle. I think so, because
probably.
But then ISM Rhythm was just kind of they obviously still stuck with a lot of their core weapons, but I think we're still willing to experiment a lot more, especially I think in game 4 they brought out the Tri instead of the Zap here. think that's like the biggest thing.
Yeah, that try helped a lot. I think with the being able to camp the ledges, with that having the very consistent cooler and just the huge amount of paint that that weapon puts out as well, with a zone as large as Scorch, it's nice to have that extra immediate paint. Whereas something maybe with like the Stamper or the Blaster, you can get it with the support of your teammates, but you have to work a lot harder for it.
Yeah, and then I think like the last thing I wanted to definitely point out is that I think throughout a lot of these sets, vision has just kind of been a really key like thing to contest here. Obviously, it matters a lot when you're running with E-Leader as your backline here, but like also just like knowing where like opponents will start like retaking and dropping from here allows you to like situate, like you can position your team more effectively if you kind of know where they're coming from, and having vision really helps with that. And like having a weapon like E-Leader is good for vision. It has Ink Mine, it has Wave Breaker. But also, like, running weapons like Custom Blaster with Point Sensor also helps with vision. It's like League of Legends laning phase, you know? Vision's a lot, like, really important.
Yeah, we got to see a lot of Guyame's point of view, and I think that really exemplifies what you were talking about with vision, especially on that Scorch game where ezmd was pushing back in and was behind the snipe on the stage, and Goyame was on the left side from their point of view and perfectly situated to get that snipe on Kiki because they knew that somebody was gonna be there, no matter who. And that's a really good demonstration of knowledge of both the sightlines of the game and predicting what your enemies are going to do.
So it's just been an all-around time here, Cater, just witnessing ezmd and ISM Rhythm. And this is just the first of many global Gauntlet Rewound videos soon to come on the IPL YouTube channel. So there's going to be a lot more coming your way, a lot more teams to witness from the global Gauntlet that happened over the past weekend. There's a lot more videos in store. So grab a drink, grab some snacks. There's a lot more Global Gauntlet Rewound ahead of us.